My father never said he was tired. When I was a child, I never heard my father say one sentence. He never said, "I am tired." Even on days when his back was bent, even when his hands shook, even when his eyes looked older than his age, he never said it. My father, named Kareem, was not a rich man. He was not an educated man, but he was a man who carried the weight of an entire family on his shoulders and never complained. Every morning before the sun woke up, my father woke up. I would hear the soft sound of water as he washed his face in the dark, then the quiet click of the door as he left for work. By the time I opened my eyes, he was already gone, working for my future. A childhood full of silence. My school uniform was always clean, but never new. My bag had stitches on it. My shoes were passed down from someone else. I didn't understand then. I thought my father was just poor. At school, other boys talked about vacations, toys, and phones. I stayed silent. Once, a boy said loudly, "Your father is just a laborer. You'll never be anything more." I smiled on the outside, but inside, something broke. That day, when I came home, my father was sitting on the floor, rubbing his knees. His shirt was wet with sweat and dust. His hands were rough like sandpaper. He looked up and smiled. "How was school, son?" I wanted to tell him everything, but I didn't. I just said, "Fine," because children don't want to hurt their parents. The day I felt ashamed. One evening, I heard my parents talking in whispers. My mother said, "The school fees are increasing." My father stayed silent for a long time. Then he said quietly, "I'll take extra work." That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought, am I too expensive for my father? Is my dream too heavy for him to carry? The next morning, I told him, "I don't want to study anymore." He looked shocked. Why? I said the words that had been burning inside me. I don't want to be a burden. My father didn't shout. He didn't get angry. He just said, "Come with me tomorrow." A lesson without a classroom. The next morning, my father took me to his workplace. The sun was hot, the ground was hard, the air smelled of cement and sweat. He gave me a heavy bag to carry. At first, I felt proud, but after minutes, my arms hurt. After an hour, my legs shook. By noon, I was crying silently. My father watched me. Then he took the bag from my hands and said softly, "Son, this is the life I want to save you from." He showed me his hands, cracked, bleeding, broken by years of work. I don't work because I love pain. I work because I love you. Those words entered my heart and never left. The sacrifices I never saw. From that day on, I noticed things. My father skipped meals. He wore the same clothes year after year. He never bought anything for himself. When I asked him why, he said, "I already have everything I need. But now I know I was everything he needed." When I studied late at night, he stayed up with me, not to help with homework, but to make sure I didn't feel alone. Sometimes I saw him fall asleep sitting upright, his head against the wall. Still, he never said he was tired. The breaking point. Years passed. One night, my father didn't come home on time. We waited. The clock ticked loudly. Finally, a neighbor came running. Kareem collapsed at work. At the hospital, I saw him lying on a bed, weaker than I had ever seen him. I held his hand. For the first time in my life, I felt how fragile it was. I whispered, "Abu, I'm sorry." Tears rolled down his cheeks. He said in a broken voice, Promise me one thing. What? I asked. Don't stop. Don't quit, even when life hurts. That night, my childhood ended. A promise kept. I studied harder than ever. When I felt tired, I remembered his hands. When I wanted to give up, I remembered his silence. He never pushed me. He never pressured me. He only watched, from a distance, like a lighthouse in a storm. Years passed. I got the letter. I had been accepted to university. I ran to him shouting. He read it slowly. Then,